text line. Hit us up. Put your name and city on it so we can give you a shout-out on the show. We were doing yesterday some numbers from Sports Illustrated about these Broncos and what 2025 will look like offensively for the squad. We went over passing yards and touchdowns for Bo Nix, because he's going to be the quarterback. They actually think he takes a step back, and Cecil and I disagreed with their prediction of 3,500 yards and 28 touchdowns. That number's got to start with a 4 touchdowns, but yeah, probably roughly around there. Great to see that number start with a 3, but I know I wouldn't be upset at 28 touchdowns from Bo Nix, especially when I know the interceptions are going to be minimal. But yardage, I think that's going to go up a little bit. Sports Illustrated called RJ Harvey the lead back at 850-plus rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Cecil, you said, all right, that might be the rushing yard number, but he's going to be a factor in the passing game as well.
Oh, for sure. Put the number 400 yards. I feel conservative even saying that. 500 yards receiving.
Wow.
Like, that's the type of weapon that Sean Payton wants to debut on the league, and he wants to do it with RJ Harvey so he can show everyone how right he was about RJ Harvey. Mm-hmm. So get ready for him to have, 800 yards on the ground, probably not 1,000, and I'm okay with that because it's going to be 1,200 all-purpose yards. So if he's got 800 on the ground, give him 400 as a receiver. And again, that's probably a conservative number. If it was 800 on the ground and 800 receiving, I wouldn't be shocked. If he had more receiving yards than rushing yards, but still that in that 1,200 yard range, that also wouldn't shock me.
Because they split carries or because they're going to throw the ball?
You had a coach that had a play sheet that said run it.
And he still didn't.
Exactly. Sean Payton will get in the game and will be like, you know what? I got to play. And it's never a run play. Yeah. It's never a run play, Sean.
You know what Sean Payton is as a football coach? Me on the golf course. Play smart, play smart, play smart. I could reach the green, hit it into the water.
What he is he's me on Madden. If you play me on, I don't want to give you too many tips.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't run on Madden when you play online, so
I
run.
Throw the ball?
Yeah, and then here's the problem. I'll get mad, and I'll go for it on 4th down, which you should never do playing online in Madden.
Exactly right.
But I go for it all the time. I don't like punting.
No, don't punt on Madden. There should be no punting on Madden, right? Isn't that like an unwritten rule online play?
It should be.
You don't punt on Madden. All right, so that's what we talked about with quarterback and running back. Well, how about tight end wide receiver? Sports Illustrated believes that new guy, Evan Engram, is going to lead the team in receptions. They talk about what he was able to do in Jacksonville. They talk about that dirty word we've always talked about with Joker and him being that for Sean Payton. Their prediction is 80 receptions. And that actually leads the team this year, Cecil. Is that number low to you? Especially, maybe not for Evan Engram, but to lead the team in receptions.
Yeah, to lead the team in receptions, it seems like there should be a little more there, right? But again, these are numbers where they think Bo Nix is going to take that step back and sophomore slump. So I guess from their math, if we're mathing this morning, I know it's Friday, but man, it's a little too early for math.
Yeah, we should never be mathing here.
It's mathing at 10:30, but yeah, I mean, they're expecting the numbers to be down. And I just personally don't see that. I see if you look at Courtland Sutton and you say 80 catches, that sounds about right. If you look at Pat Bryant and you say 50 catches, that sounds about right. Let's give 50 to Marvin Mims. That sounds about right. And then that means Evan Engram. Where's he at in this conversation? Maybe it's 70 catches, something like that.
So you still look at Courtland as the top dog as far as Bo's best or favorite target?
I think he should be.
Okay.
In order for this offense to function at the highest level, Courtland Sutton needs to be the number one go-to, you drop plays for him guy.
Well, I think it's also you use the hell out of Evan Engram in the middle of the field. You open up Courtland on the outside of the field.
Yes.
And maybe it's a little less as far as the number of catches go, but his yardage is up because he's getting more one-on-one. So his average per is bigger than it was in 24.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for there as well. Some more downfield strikes because, quite frankly, Pat Bryant's going to have some quick slants. He's going to do the slant god stuff like Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
You have RJ Harvey catching short passes, turning into long gains. So where are the deep shots at? Marvin.
Yeah.
And then Court. I want to see Court downfield a little bit more because he's capable of doing that, and it's just a way to keep the defense honest. You're going to have honest defenses this year. Think about that.
Right.
Sean Payton with an honest defense, a defense that can't cheat to one side because you only have one player.
Yeah.
Courtland Sutton's going to get open. Throw him the ball.
Well, they do have Courtland Sutton on this article, and they have Courtland Sutton leading in two statistical categories, and it's receiving yards and touchdowns. So he has led the team in touchdowns, then receiving yards. They say he's going to do both, little double dip in 2025. They say, Sports Illustrated, that is, Courtland has, they're hitting it right on the head, exactly 1,000 yards receiving and then 8 touchdowns this season. Cecil, if those are the numbers, I mean, that's a damn good season for Courtland Sutton. That would be 3 consecutive really, really good seasons for Courtland Sutton. And if you go back all the way to that first that we're talking about of the good 3, we know what it was with Russell Wilson, where he had his season was 10 touchdowns.
Yes.
He had the big touchdown numbers, and the team was terrible. But 3 straight years of those kind of numbers and that kind of production, that leads to the money that you've been talking about for a while now.
Yeah, pay him, lock him down. It's not going to be much. And in fact, of the players that they need to pay, I think Courtland's first because he did the dance last year.
Mm-hmm.
He messed around with you last year, and you kind of negotiated without negotiating. Can I get a raise? No. But here's some bonuses. Can you hit them? Yes. So Court's already done that dance. So pay the guy because you're expecting the production to be there because it needs to be there, right? Just like we talk about with the Nuggets. It's not forever. Courtland Sutton's not going to be here forever, but for the time that he's here and the time that he has been here, he's already earned that money. So pay him and then expect more production for a couple of more years, and then you're probably moving on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with it, man. Like I said, I got to the number. I was at 20. You talked me into it. I got to about 23, and I think that's more than fair as an annual average value. I like a 2-year deal for Courtland at about 48, 49, guaranteed. And maybe there's some money on that third year, but you don't have to go into it if the production has started to drop. So
right.
You talked me into it, man. You got me there, and you and I are on the same page when it comes to number 14 for the Denver Broncos. All right, let me remind you, talking a little football, your kids are going to get ready for football, and we can, refine some of those skills at the Denver Sports. Be a mentor, be a fan youth football camp. If you've got kids between the ages of 8 and 14 looking to learn a little bit more about the game, or like I said, maybe just want to put some final prep on their game before they get to their school season, well, you got to join us June 21st at All City Stadium. That's at Denver South High School. Philip Lindsay, Brandon Stokely, and several coaches from Denver South are going to be there, as well as some Denver sports talent in attendance to talk about this game that we all know and love so much. For more information and to register the kids, make sure you hit denversports.com/camp. That's denversports.com/camp. This thing will fill up. We don't want anybody to be left out, so make sure you're getting there and getting registered. All proceeds from this camp will benefit Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Colorado, who do great work with the youth in this state. All right, at 10:40, we go inside the internet. What crazy videos or stories have caught our eye? Well, our buddy Will Peterson wrote at denversports.com about something that's caught his eye with Bruce Brown and flirting with the Denver Nuggets again. We'll share the details.